Now, the Mind seems to be a very polarizing game. When it came onto the scene a couple years back, a lot of people just loved it and were talking about how great and innovative it was. And then immediately after that, there was a giant rush of saying how it's not even a game. All right, how do I feel about it? Well, if you can't tell already, you've already lost. Mine's a quick game from 2 to 4 players, usually plays in about 10 to 20 minutes. Well, how do I feel about it? I'll just come out right away and say, yes, it is a game, but barely. I do like it, but only in certain situations. And while it's not super deep, it definitely has its place. So real quick, how you play the game. There's a deck of 100 cards. You're going to get one card per player for whatever level you're on. And then you're just going to, without communicating, play your cards and try to get them in order. All right? You have a certain amount of life cards. Every time you get one wrong, you lose a life. Everyone plays out their cards. They move on to the next level. All right, so level 2, everyone gets 2 cards. Level 3, everyone gets 3 cards, and so on and so forth. Until you run out of lives, you see what level you got to. Now what you get when you open up this little box is just a whole bunch of cards, all right? You're going to have one deck of 100 cards, numbered from 1 to 0. You're going to have level cards going up to 12. You're going to have 5 life cards, represented by this cool bunny. And you're also going to get some shuriken cards. Now these cards they're a little thin and a little bendy, and the dark edges do get marked up, so you can kind of mark them, but I don't know. I don't think that's a problem. You want them to be a little thin because you don't want this box to take up a whole lot of space, so that's just fine. Now the artwork on the cards is pretty interesting. Like my friend of mine referred to this as an Ethereal Plains rabbit highlighted with neon lights, which is, pretty apt, I guess. Otherwise, there's not much to it. The levels have slightly different pictures for each level you go to. And the numbers are just numbers with a little supernova behind them. The instructions are small and concise, but easy to read. I kind of like the white letters on the black background. I think it's a little easier to read. But, it's just one tiny little paper, and everything you need to know is on there. Now, the big question, is it a game? Yes and no. All right, there is an objective, and you got to make decisions in order to beat levels so you can progress. All right, so there is a game in there. All right, but a lot of people are just kind of looking at it as an activity. I mean, there's not a whole lot of decisions. It's not horribly deep, and it's not going to be for a lot of people. So without being able to communicate, a lot of people, it's going to feel like you're just making blind decisions and hoping for the best outcome. All right? And it's in that communication, or the inability to, where the game really lies. All right, the rules say, let me read it right here. Watch out. Here's where it gets interesting. The player must not disclose anything about their own cards. No sharing of information, no secret signals. So how does this actually work? All right. So is there talking? Technically, yes, but you can't say anything that's going to give out any information about the cards you have. What number they are, obviously, are they high or low, anything like that. And no communication means anything. There's no hand signals, I can't blink 5 times. I can't tap on the table 12 times to show that I have, like a number 12 card. Anything like that. So I can't communicate to say what I've got. So what it is, you have to read your teammates' minds. And by reading their minds, you're really just reading their body language for the most part. You're going to be looking at facial expressions. So while I can't, again, say blink once for yes, twice for no, obviously, and I can't intentionally give anything away by my face, but other players can look at me and say, oh, that he looks a little stressed, he might have a couple cards that are too far away. So they, by just looking at me as my knee, am I shaking my knee? That might be a thing. That might be a tell, a giveaway. And those are the things that you're going to use to figure out what cards your teammates might have and which ones you should play. There's also probability. You got to figure out how many cards are there in between. We each have one. What are the chances that my card would be the best one played? So you got to think about that. And also you can card count, Like, do you remember what cards you got rid of in the first round, second round? It's super difficult, but if you've got that kind of brain, you can do it. In a lot of ways, this might kind of be like a co-op version of poker when you think about it. Because what are you doing? You're using probability to figure out your best decisions. You're card counting, well, technically illegal in poker, but hey, you can do that if you're good enough. And also, the biggest thing, right, is reading the other players. You do that in poker. A lot of people will say that is the whole game of poker, is just reading the other players. And that's what you're doing in this. So you can think about it as possibly a co-op version of poker. And again, that is where the game is. The reason this is staying in my collection is team building. All right, as a coach, I love team building. All right, and so I'm going to use that with my new captains. I'll get them together. We'll play this game. We'll figure it out. And also in my regular job, I also am in charge of a group of people, and I got to get the crew on the same page. And that's where this game is going to come in and really, really shine. Not to mention the fact that we're doing team building exercises instead of actually working. Who doesn't love that? So, and it usually goes the same way. I'll introduce it, I won't say much, and we'll make a ton of mistakes. And then I'll talk to everyone and be like, all right, we want to slow everything down. You don't want to just jump to conclusions and think you know the right answer right away. We've got to slow it down. Take a breath before you play a card. Right? Look at your teammates, all right? Look at the other players and really try to read. We try to read their faces, their facial expressions, try to think of what they're thinking. Find that unspoken understanding that you guys will all have together. And then you still make a mistake and then we all laugh. But say we usually it goes the same. We'll start by losing a ton, and after a while, after some playing, then things start to click. You do start to be able to read each other better, and you do have a little bit understanding. And then we can usually start to get to like the 5th, 6th level consistently. Usually doesn't go much farther than that though. I don't know. I've never made it to level 12, and I don't think I ever will. Outside of that, sometimes my girlfriend will want to play this as a quick filler game, and just to waste time, and knowing that you don't have to do too much to it, and so we'll do that. Now, this isn't a game I would take to like a regular game night, especially not if it's a group of people I don't know. It just might not feel super comfortable. It's a little awkward. You're really looking at each other, staring at each other's faces. It's just kind of weird. And in my regular game group even, someone wanted to play it. They heard about it, so we played it one night. Half the players just hated it, one declaring that she would never, ever play this game again under any circumstances. So that's, it has its place. And so yes, I will be keeping this in my collection, mostly to be used as a team building game or team building activity if you really, really don't want to call it a game. Oh, some people are going to really enjoy it, some people are going to really hate it. I can't see it sitting out as just a normal game night kind of game, but it definitely has a place, at least for me, and if you're interested in using it as some tool like that, then I would definitely pick it up. Alright, this has been Coach Troy, reviewing The Mind, and I'll see y'all next time.